Hello, City of Champions. This week, I had a chance to speak with a woman who's playing a major part in making Edmonton beautiful again. Or rather, I guess, exposing just how beautiful our northern gateway city really can be. Brittney Punter is the driving force behind the social movement Yeggers. Brittney founded the Instagram account, which now has 40,000 followers, because she was fed up with hearing how dreary and desolate a city Edmonton was. When she's not starting social movements, Brittney's an artist, a photographer, a teacher, and a world traveler, among many other things. Make sure to check out the page, Yeggers, on Instagram, that's Yeggers, for breathtaking photos of our City of Champions. Please enjoy my talk with Brittney Punter. You're in Shanghai 7 months ago?
Yeah.
We're just going to jump right into this.
Okay, sure.
All right.
For sure.
What were you doing there?
I was actually just traveling.
Yeah?
Just no agenda.
How long were you in Shanghai?
I think about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what did you do while you're there?
Sightseeing, honestly.
Sightseeing?
Yeah.
Any highlights that I should know about?
I almost got shanghaied.
What does that mean exactly?
It's notorious for thieves and pickpockets.
Okay.
And they're really, really good at it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what happened?
Well, it was a really friendly girl and her sister, 20-something women, and they were so nice. They spoke a little bit of English, and they offered to take our picture. I'm like, yeah, love it, of course. And then we just got to chatting, and they take us on like a huge walk just around the neighborhood, like showing us things, and it was like all well and good. They were so friendly. And then they take us into this like tea room because they wanted to do like a tea ceremony with us. And we were still like, yeah, sure, why not? And then,
We're so nice in Shanghai.
Yeah, so great. And so we go to this like tea ceremony thing, and it was really fun. And then at the end of it, they're like, oh, that was what is the equivalent of like 300-400 Canadian that you owe us for this tea ceremony.
Right.
And yeah, we were like, hell no, like that's never gonna happen.
Right. You're like, we don't have that. We're traveling.
Yeah.
So what did you do? You just walked out?
I didn't walk out, but I did. I was with my grandma,
Yeah.
so I was like, okay, I don't want to like get into a kerfluffle or something. So
I don't want to have to throw down with Grandma here. I don't want to embarrass her, so I'm going to let you guys get away with this. Did you go anywhere else in China?
Yeah, I went to Beijing
Yeah.
and Hangzhou.
Hangzhou. Where's that in relation to those two other cities?
Hangzhou is right.
Is it south?
It's right out of Shanghai. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Shanghai's
far.
like central.
Yeah.
Hong Kong is south. Beijing is north. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Harbin?
No.
That's even farther north than Beijing.
Oh wow.
So that's
okay.
got like Russian influences as well. So
Interesting.
that's where we're going on our trip.
Okay.
But I digress. So you are the founder, creative director, driving force behind Yeggers.
That's me.
What in a sentence would you call Yeggers?
In one sentence, I think I would describe Yeggers as a community of creatives from Edmonton.
Okay, that's good. So to give the audience a little context, let's start with your backstory.
Okay. I guess it kind of originated about 5 years ago.
I'm talking about you, not just Yeggers.
Oh,
your
okay,
backstory.
me.
Yeah, for
Sure.
total context of who Brittney Punter is as a person.
Okay,
Is it Punter or Punter?
Punter.
Punter, okay.
Yeah, all good. The kids always ask me if I play football.
And what do you say?
I never tried.
You gotta embellish that a little bit, right?
No, I guess I'm 22, and I'm a teacher. I absolutely love traveling, but I always come back to Edmonton, and I consider myself fairly creative. I love photography, strictly as a hobby. There's nothing serious about it for me. I just like to capture memories. And yeah, I think in a nutshell, I think that's kind of what I'm about. I've always lived in Edmonton, born and raised here.
And have you always loved Edmonton?
No.
No. Good.
Yeah,
Tell
I have
us
not.
about this.
I can't say I've always loved Edmonton.
Yeah.
I grew up on the south side. Like in the Riverbend area, I guess. I kind of would describe myself as like a south side snob, you know?
Okay, fair enough.
That whole area
you
of
own
town.
it, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And like, I don't think I really left that area of town very often until maybe I turned like 18. Like, I don't know, you'd go to West Ed or maybe explore White Ave, but
Yeah, the life can be a bubble.
it's quite a bubble, yeah. And then when I started like driving and like going to school and exploring the city more, that's when I realized that it's actually a pretty vibrant place and there's a lot going on, and I guess being 18, it opens up your world a little bit more to what you can actually do.
Of course.
So, yeah, I just started exploring more and appreciating Edmonton a ton more, getting into photography, and that's kind of when I got hooked on social media.
So what was your first memory of getting started in photography? How did that unfold?
So I started at university downtown in MacEwan, and that's probably the first time I'd ever explored downtown, besides like driving through it.
Right.
And I loved it. The huge buildings and pretty huge, like for
just a small town south side girl. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just thought it was a whole different life than what I had seen on my corner of town, and I just wanted to capture it. So I got into the photography side of things.
What was your first camera? Were you like snapping pictures on your cell phone?
You're
too young for flip phones. Your first cell phone was definitely an iPhone. Did you really?
Yeah,
was it a Razor?
No, it was this little silver thing.
Samsung?
No, a Motorola.
Okay, there was a bunch of them, but I just know the Razor and I had the Samsung Silver. It was kind of a curvy one. Were the really popular ones, at least when I was younger.
Yeah, maybe something like that. It was a tough phone though. Yeah,
they were built like bricks. Back in the day.
You could chuck it at a wall and it would be all good.
Okay, but did you start on that or did you start on an actual camera?
This little camera that my grandma gave me, maybe when I was 16 or something, a Canon Elf. This little chunky thing.
Yeah, I remember those. Those got really good after the years went on, though.
They did, eventually, yeah. But I would take that thing with me everywhere, and the quality was really bad, and I was really bad. I just took a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
There was a little setting on there that was like the vibrancy setting. So, you take pictures, it makes everything so saturated.
Right.
Like, these are the best photos ever.
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
Well, it's all part of the learning process.
Yeah, for sure. I just know I loved it, but I can't say I was good at it.
Do you still have all those old photos?
Floating around somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere in the old hard drives?
Yeah.
So you're taking photos and going to school. What were you taking in school at that point?
Education.
Education?
Yeah.
Okay. So you knew you wanted to be a teacher?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've known for quite a while. And so far I like it, so.
That's good. And then let's talk about the inception of Yeggers.
Yeah, okay. So I guess I'm at school and I'm a notorious procrastinator. So while you're supposed to be studying, I'm just cruising around on Instagram and kind of like jetting out into photography a little bit. And I just noticed that online, the photos of Edmonton that I'm seeing like are just kind of boring and blah. And well, that was like 5-6 years ago. Instagram was like not really a thing.
And Instagram was brand new back then.
Oh,
too,
yeah,
right?
for
like
sure.
2011 or 2012, I think it started.
Yeah.
How did you come across it to begin with? Was it like a very much a university thing at that point?
I think so.
Because I was out of university at that point, so it didn't cross my world until like 2014, 2015.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much the same time. But yeah, I think just a couple friends had it, and with photography, I guess you're like supposed to have it because there was like really popular photographers on there, like travel photographers.
Oh, okay. So it started in that community of sharing your photos.
Yeah.
And it's kind of morphed into more like sharing your life, not just your
Definitely,
photos, right?
Yeah. It started with photography, and the only people on there who had any kind of a following were like world-class travel photographers, and that's kind of who I was interested in following. And I realized my own city was like not represented like some of these other places around the world.
You were probably thinking like, I've taken better pictures of this city than what's on here.
Yeah, for sure. And even if there was anything, it was like, I don't know, it's kind of like not a lot to choose from, I guess. So
what was the next step then? How did you decide, I'm going to start this little community here?
I don't know why, I guess, but I just kind of, our airport is YEG.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I like English and playing with words, and I was just like, Yeg is already kind of a word.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we make it a thing? So Yeggers, I just made a little Instagram profile for it, and I was like, okay, Edmonton themed, I guess. And then I started kind of putting up little photos that I had found and ones that I had taken on there, and people like started following.
Do you still have those original ones? Like if I go to the profile now and scroll all the way back, will I see the first photo?
Honestly, you won't. No.
You took some down.
I did. They were really, really bad.
That's a shame. It's always good to see the whole story. But anyway, continue.
I wish I had them. But the archive feature is pretty great because you can kind of just put those in a separate folder.
Oh, is that where you hide them, right? This is great. I'm getting an Instagram lesson for free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I started posting these photos, and I don't know, social media also is pretty new, and people start following, and it's fun, you know? You're kind of like, oh, like, there's people, and there's likes, and it's super shallow, and it's just like, you know what, like, there's people who are interested in this. That's kind of cool. And so I was just, like, hooked immediately, and that now became something that I did, like, every single day. I would just search on there for photos.
So you would find the photos and then repost them and give credit, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
And then when did it switch from that to people? Do people submit photos as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It definitely took a while for the hashtag to get traction because ideally I just wanted it to be where I could just click on the hashtag, scroll through, find a cool photo, and then put it up. And then nobody was using the hashtag when you have like 50 followers. So that took a bit. And yeah, now it's kind of nice because you can just, the hashtag is kind of a commonly used one in the city, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more than photography on there too. Food pics, animal pictures, working out, Fitspo, whatever.
Yeah. What's Fitspo?
Fitness inspiration.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't really use that word. That's just like it's like a online thing.
So if you were to, summarize what sort of the mission goal is for Yeggers, how do you put that in? How do you summarize that?
The mission goal, well, that's continually changing, I find. But right now, I think I'm just trying to embody.
That's the first one on there right now.
Oh, that's the first one, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Couple nice canoes on the lake and a dog. Whose dog is that?
Oh, that was actually a police dog.
Oh.
Yeah, I reposted a police dog.
84 likes.
Yeah.
You've come a long way. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's funny.
So the mission statement constantly changing. Where did it start, and how has it evolved over the years? And what's changed for you, as the manager of this movement, if you want to call it that?
I guess initially I was just concerned with kind of getting a community or foundation. And just for a few years, all I was doing was the phone thing and just the online thing. And there was no, like, interaction with it at all.
Right.
And the only way you could talk to somebody was, like, by commenting on their photo. You couldn't even message.
No DMs.
Yeah, so it was just, like, not very social at all. And I was just like, this is kind of weird. Like, why am I here, like, reposting all these photos, but not even, like, interacting with people? It's just very, like, closed off.
Right.
And so I kind of made the step toward making it more community-based and did the first Insta-meet for us in maybe 2014 or 15.
Okay. And so that you'd have been young at that time, like 18, 19. Like, that's a lot of initiative to, like, start an organization, then initiate, like, getting together as a group. Like, what was, like, driving you to create this community? Like, what was it about that social aspect, and, like, how did the idea to do an Insta-meet even come up for you?
Honestly, I'm not sure what the driving force was. I just know that I really loved looking at beautiful photos of the city, and I just loved doing that. So if I could curate a feed that had a whole bunch of beautiful photos, and maybe other people liked them too, that was, like, it. I just liked doing that. Okay. And then I'd seen Insta-meets online, Instagram. Other photographers had hosted them in other cities and in our city, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to give this a go. You just pick a date and a time and a place, and you say, come one, come all.
Right.
You don't need any special equipment. Just come out, and we're going to get off our phones for an afternoon, and we're just going to, like, chat, take photos, and all that jazz. I was terrified.
How many people showed up to that first one?
There was maybe, like, 20 or 30
Okay. Did you consider that a success, that many people?
I had no idea what to expect, right? I think in my head I was wagering like 80 to 100 people out of the gate.
You shot pretty high.
I did shoot pretty high, but I had no idea what to expect. I don't know. It was a nice day. Like,
so you walk around. Where was that first one? What part of the city?
It was at the legislature.
The Ledge? That's a good place to start.
Yeah. You know where those fountains are? And they weren't running that day.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's just those things you have to plan. And I was like, oh, let's all meet by the fountains. And there's no fountains running. So I'm like, okay, missed that one. And I show up and I'm just like, this is weird. Like, I'm just meeting like a whole bunch of strangers off the internet and we're going to walk around and take photos. Like, I was pretty uncomfortable with that, I guess.
Yeah. You're young, you're like 19 or however old you are. That's a big step.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with anyone from that first meet?
Yeah, I do actually.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this with someone today, one of my next upcoming guests. But like, rarely can you just message someone because you think what they do is cool, right? And like want to be friends.
Yeah.
Like it's in the context has to be right. You know, I want you. You know, I like your photography. We should meet up and do photography together and take pictures. I like your, you know, what you're doing in the city. Like, come and be on my podcast.
Totally, exactly.
It's funny that it works that way, but you can't just message someone out of the blue and say, "Hey, let's be friends because I like what you're doing."
Yeah, no, completely. It feels kind of awkward, and you're like, "What if it's not well received?"
Yeah. And then, so after the first meet, where did you go from there?
I thought it was pretty successful. Like, I met some really cool people, and I don't know, we got together and we did something that like was a shared hobby, I guess. And so even though we are all totally different people, totally different lives, it was kind of cool to just like walk around the city for an afternoon and take some pictures.
Yeah.
And I liked it. So I was like, you know what? I think we should keep doing this. And then I had quite a few more. And I'm planning these like while going to university, probably spending more time on Instagram than I should be.
You're like, but there's a reason for it. You're like, I'm not just wasting my time. I'm building something.
Yeah, that was the thought. I could have been wasting my time. And I was, I guess, luckily it kind of caught on. So, yeah.
What was your growth like? Because you're just shy of 40,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
How many of those were right off the hop? How many of those were just steady growth? Like, what were the phases there? And what really kind of took you from 0 to 1?
I think the phases were first reaching 1,000. I know I worked really hard to try and engage and like and comment around community photos to try and just reach that initial milestone.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was the push to 10,000, I guess. And then it kind of started to snowball after that, and there was just kind of like a gradual increase.
Yeah.
So,
what's the ultimate goal?
Oh man,
the whole city, 1 million.
Yeah, 1 million.
It's really interesting how art can, while it's not quantifiable, can really have a huge impact on the city.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not from Edmonton originally, although I was born here, but I didn't grow up here. And I've lived in Calgary, Vancouver, just outside of Toronto for a little bit, and Edmonton. And out of all those places, I don't know why, but Edmonton is my favorite. Right. And I hear it over and over again. People say it's just something about the city. It's something about the people. And I suspect a big reason is that if you don't like Edmonton, you leave. So everyone here wants to be here.
That's fair.
But there's just, like, I think like you probably sensed back when you first started Yeggers, is there's something more here that can be shared with the world, right? Like there's a beautiful vision of this city that needs to be shared, and we're not just what people think. We're not just some northern tundra that the tumbleweeds blow through and freeze over.
Yeah, living in our igloos.
Yeah. So I mean, I certainly get it, and it's really cool to see people like yourself being proud of this city and inspiring other people to be proud of it as well. I mean, like, anytime you're scrolling through Yeggers, or scrolling through your feed, and if an amazing photo of Edmonton pops up, you're like, I can't believe this is Edmonton.
I know, yeah, it surprises me too.
It's really incredible. Like, when I first moved here before Instagram, I would have never thought that, right? But you found some great stuff. Where are your favorite spots around the city?
That's a tough one. I really like, I guess, those like hidden spots that are a little bit off the grid.
You got to tell us now where those are.
I have to tell them?
Yeah, otherwise it's just a cop-out answer. You go, I like the hidden spots, and then don't tell us. Share one or two. Okay,
well, I guess I'll share my second favorite spot is the end of the world.
Yeah, I know that
it's
one.
Pretty well known, though. It's not really off the grid,
yeah,
but I guess it's kind of off the grid.
What's the status on that? Because Mike Maxis filmed the Oilers intro there last season.
Okay.
And then there was an article in the paper, saying that they should have been fined and people should have been in trouble. They had Jordan Eberle sitting there with his legs dangling off.
Right.
And they're saying, look, this is an unsafe place for people to go. But it's such a unique part of the city that Mike's answer was like, look, like, people are going to go regardless if you say do or don't. And even if you put a bylaw there. So why not make it, why not make it safe for people to access? Make it something that we can be proud of. So has anything changed as far as you're concerned with that spot? Or is it still just the same as it's always been?
Well, the rumors I hear are that they are developing it into like a safe lookout spot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess there's two sides to that, because a lot of people are saying, well, that'll ruin the beauty of it, is because it is kind of like,
the
I guess
mystique,
it's like
the
illegal,
danger.
and it is kind of dangerous. Like,
Yeah.
have you walked out on that little cliff?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like exhilarating. It's
Yeah.
like,
Not recommended for anyone in the audience.
no, don't
but
do that.
if you do, it is beautiful.
Yeah, and the view itself, though, is so beautiful. Like, I don't think there's another place in the city where you can get, like, well, there probably is, but a river valley view like that.
Okay.
So I kind of am leaning toward they probably should develop it, just because I like the view. And I think they should do that. Everybody should see that lookout.
So where's the favorite spot?
And the favorite spot, I call it Graffiti Alley.
Okay.
I don't know if it has an official name.
Yeah.
But it's kind of this bridge under the Henday between Rabbit Hill exit and 111th.
Okay.
And it's pretty hidden. Like, there's this huge white circle on the Henday.
Yeah.
And it's a compass.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. And if you go into it, or
Yeah.
I guess like around and down, there's like
Okay.
a little ravine under there. And it's just this really cool bridge that I think they put up in like 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a ton of graffiti under there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I know. Okay, so I know where you're between 111th and Rabbit Hill Road. Okay, and it goes over a ravine, but it doesn't. That's not the main river you're talking about, because that's
it's
farther
just a
west
little
than Rabbit
ravine.
Hill Road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So east of Rabbit Hill Road.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I'll have to check that out. So a bunch of graffiti down there.
Yeah, and it's actually surprisingly like huge. They're just like, I don't know, maybe like 20-foot walls, just like completely decorated with graffiti, and every time you go down there there's new stuff, so it's kind of like a little graffiti museum, I guess.
Any other good spots more central that are a little bit more accessible to people?
Yeah.
I mean, like the LRT stations are beautiful in and of themselves.
Very true.
I mean, going along the tracks, those bridges are great. Everything in the river valley is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Have you been on the new funicular?
I haven't.
No?
No, I that's my new mission though, for sure.
Do you prefer the more sort of urban, refined, developed look, or do you like the more kind of older, sort of run down look, or do you prefer more natural?
I think probably more natural is my number one. And then I like the urban exploration part of things with like a more rundown kind of low-key area. But it's always fun too, like especially when it's a little bit warmer outside, to just park your car somewhere downtown or take the train there and then just get out and go walk around and just explore.
The stuff you see on foot is so different, right?
It's so different, completely. Yeah, and sometimes you just have to go down those back alleys and find this really cool brick wall and just it's really surprising.
You're kind of fearless, hey? Like, it's pretty incredible. Meeting 20 strangers, walking down back alleys. Like, good for you.
Thank you. I have fun with it.
Have you considered turning the Instameets into more like adventures, like a scavenger hunt or a photo scavenger hunt? Maybe that thing exists. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely have tried to do that before, but it's more of a trial and error, and it takes a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a work in progress. I have a lot of work in progress.
A lot of work. Anything you can share? Is it all top secret?
I wouldn't say it's all top secret. I guess just some events that I'm looking forward to this year. Some that I'm planning on doing from the ground up, because oftentimes I'll collaborate on an event, but there's some this year that we're looking at doing that are just ours. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but those are still in the very early stages,
all
so
right.
I'd hate to like talk about it and then not end up doing it.
I completely understand. You don't want to jinx it. Talk about it before it's too early.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about the 2017 photo challenge. How did this come about?
So I've actually kind of collaborated with Don Iveson for a couple of years.
You play it so cool too. I've kind of collaborated with our mirror.
Collaborate. I don't know if that's the best word, but just like on Instagram and social media, we've communicated, I guess, and we're kind of just on the same page with he wants to promote a beautiful, awesome city to live in, and so do I. So we kind of just connect on those points.
Yeah.
And we did an instant meet with him at the end of the summer. Actually, no, right before his re-election. So I guess that was in October.
Yeah.
And he just came out with him and his wife and his campaign team. And we just walked around White Ave with like a group of photographers. And we hung out with him for the afternoon. And it was a really good time. And we kind of all got to know him a little bit more. Yeah. And then his team reached out to us again in December. And they said, hey, we want to host like this favorite photos of the year contest. Do you guys want to get on board with that? And we were like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it happened and a ton of photos came in and it was actually like very overwhelming.
How many submissions did you end up getting?
Just about 4,000.
Yeah. And so to submit, what was the particular hashtag? Or was it just Yeggers?
It was Yeg 2017 pics.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so explain a little bit of the logistics of the contest. There was 3 categories, right?
Yeah, there was 3 categories. There was weather, unique perspectives, and landscape, which are pretty interchangeable. So it's not too hard to find one of the categories.
And what did the winners get?
The winners are getting kind of a coffee date with the mayor on the 20th. Yeah. We're all going to hang out in City Hall for a little bit.
Okay, so it'll be the 6 of them and you and Don?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And we're really looking forward to just that kind of like intimacy, to just chat about like these photos that have created a fair amount of hype because, I don't know, they're really beautiful images.
I got them right here. So talk about, do you know the photographers personally at this point?
I know I think about 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, which of these photos can you speak to?
I think... I don't
really
even know
awesome.
if I have a favorite, to be honest.
I mean, like the one out of the plane window of Rogers Place is pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think my favorite is the bottom left one, where the city looks like something out of Gotham.
It does, yeah. It just has that like hazy glow to it.
Mm-hmm. Where's that taken?
In a helicopter.
In a helicopter?
Yeah. That one may be my favorite, but I love a good landscape shot. So I guess the top one, by a photographer named Nicholas, that's probably my favorite. Just because it has this like lone golden tree.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Nicholas D or Dai?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Don Graves, Persian Poppy, Lee Marvin 86, Paranoid Android, and Tyler Majot. Well done to the 6 winners. They also, I totally misread this. I was reading Dawn Iveson saying, and we're also going to put their pictures up in my office. And I was like, why would he want a picture of the photographers in this office?
That's good. That's so good.
And then I rethought that. I'm like, oh, no, the winning picture. Oh, of course. These are the winners. Look at their faces.
Yeah, photographers don't usually go by their self-portraits.
That was just
so funny.
A stupid little moment I thought was pretty funny. I had to share.
No, I guess that wasn't clarified though, right? It was like
it was just me reading it in the wrong way.
Their pictures will go up on his wall.
Thanks, Don. So for the listeners here, because almost everyone's got Instagram, especially in our demographic, and I'm gonna lump myself in with you, even though I'm 7 years older than you. But what are some beginning tips that people can work with to help, with their photos? What kind of photos? Like, I guess it depends what their goal is, obviously.
Totally.
But I mean, something that's applicable to kind of everyone. Because sometimes I'm like, I got to edit the photo. And people are like, what do you mean edit the photo?
Right.
They don't understand. So,
yeah.
So what would you recommend to people to increase the vibrancy? To use a term you first discovered.
I like that, yeah. So actually I was thinking about that one, and I kind of was able to narrow it down to maybe 3 really important things that I think someone should focus on if they're trying to build their Instagram. And I guess it's just important to note that it's really, really hard to get like traction. That takes a ton of engagement, and you have to be like getting arthritis in your hands from liking, because
again,
it
not
takes
recommended.
A lot of time. So yeah, I don't know if it's everybody's cup of tea, but if it's something that you want, I think that you could kind of boil things down to consistency, quality, and a focus.
Okay.
So with consistency, it's important to post often.
Mm-hmm. How often is too often? How often is not often?
Too often is a problem. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Because I've seen some people who have gone out and they've done a photo shoot or something, and then they'll post like 12 shots in 5 minutes.
Right.
And it's just kind of overwhelming because you're like, there's so much going on.
Yeah.
So I think maybe like 1 to 3 posts a day, if
Okay.
you space it out, is perfect.
Right.
Because you really just need that consistency. If you're posting once a week, once every 2 weeks, you're not going to gather that following.
Right.
Because it's the new posts that are going to bring in those people. So
Out of sight, out of mind kind of thing too.
exactly, yeah. You just have to keep on it all the time.
Okay.
So you have to have content.
And I'm sure the second was quality.
Yeah.
I'm sure with quality, the higher quality you have, the more consistency you can put into it, right? Because if
True.
you're posting
Yeah.
1 a day of really high quality stuff, you could bump that up to 2 a day. But if your quality's suffering, you might not want to post more than 1 a day.
That's quite fair. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
I'm a
And even
natural.
just definitely. They kind of all go together.
Okay.
And even like just the overall quality of your content and just making sure that you're posting photos that they represent you and whatever you want to present to the world, but in a clear way and in aesthetic way, you know? Lighting is everything.
Okay, good to know. And that's probably the one thing that the average person doesn't really have a grasp on, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I do see that sometimes. A photo of a group of people, which could be amazing if like flash was turned on, but
Right.
then it'll just be shadows and you can't even see who they are.
There's only so much you can edit in post, right?
So true, yeah.
And number 3?
The third thing was a focus, I
Focus,
guess.
okay.
Yeah. It kind of really just takes the attention away from a personal Instagram, which is like posting about your life. And I don't know if people should be so concerned about the following of a personal Instagram, you know, because that's your life. Like, as long as you like it, I think that's all that matters. But if you're trying to make your Instagram grow as far as like a business or a project or I don't know, whatever, you should have a direction you're headed.
Right.
And all of your content should kind of circle around that topic.
Right. So a
pick
niche kind of
direction.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
I think for some people, the personal Instagram promotion is because they're in so many different fields
Potentially.
that
yeah.
they're not really segmentized into one thing. So instead, they just want to be viewed as someone who does a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah.
All their underlying brands are kind of like all under their heading brand of like, this is me, this is my reputation or my personal brand, right?
Quite true.
But, you know, I can certainly see how if you really, you know, want to promote one particular thing, you've got a niche in that. You've got to find your audience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if you're a person who has a whole bunch of things going on, I guess that kind of can be your niche a little bit, that you just do a ton of interesting things.
His direction is he has no direction.
Maybe, yeah. So I guess there's just never any directions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as long as like your content is, it comes back to you at least, then you might be getting somewhere.
So what about like the copy, like what you write underneath the photo, hashtags, that kind of stuff? How important is that? Like, what can people do to connect more?
That's definitely really important. Your caption, it should be well thought out. You know, check for grammar mistakes and things like that. I mess that up all the time. Sometimes I'll read it through. I'm like, oh, that was a big mistake.
Yep.
But yeah, it should be relatively insightful. Don't leave it blank, obviously.
Not just one emoji.
Yeah, maybe not.
That
just
could
one
be
emoji.
impactful, can it?
That's fair.
Yeah.
If the image really speaks volumes, then maybe not. But if the image is a little bit more convoluted and needs like some explanation, you should
Right.
probably like explain
Yeah.
what's happening. And then the hashtags are really important too. So whatever your niche is, whatever you're trying to present, you should have a hashtag for all of those things. And
Okay.
they should be all the biggest hashtags
Right.
like, in that field.
Right. So do you always want to go with the hashtag that's got the biggest number of uses, or does that almost get you lost at sea sometimes and you might want to go something slightly more specific? Right? So instead of like
Fair.
hockey, you go YG hockey, where hockey's got like 5 million and YG hockey's got 2,200.
Exactly. I think you should have both of them.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
that's a case where there's no limit to how many hashtags you can throw in there, right? Like
Yeah.
the more the better.
I think it's something like 20.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I usually will put mine just in a separate comment under
Right.
the caption.
Yeah.
And they're just a whole bunch of Edmonton-based hashtags.
Right.
But of course, that doesn't work for everyone.
Do you have those saved to a document so you just copy and paste?
Yeah, I do.
That's very helpful.
It's just quick and easy. Yeah, I honestly never change it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
There's nothing worse than that. I was like one time like 14 or 15 in, and then I hit the back button.
Oh, no. Yeah.
It's like, oh, no.
Yeah, doing it every time, that's that like arthritis in the thumbs thing. It's like, might as well just have it ready to roll, and then you can just put it in there.
So I want to be respectful of your time and not keep you too much longer, but I'm really curious. So you said you travel lots, and I think your number is 31 countries. Is that right?
Yeah, that is actually correct.
What countries would be at the top of that list that you've visited so far?
That's always a really hard question, but I think Brazil is up there. Japan, Peru, and oh man, Greece.
Greece?
Yeah.
Have all these trips occurred at a time that you've had your interest in photography? So that was a big part of those trips?
Definitely.
So
yeah.
aesthetic wise, what has been your favorite place to shoot outside of Edmonton? Because we know that's number one, obviously.
It is, yeah, not gonna lie, for sure. My favorite place was probably Brazil. Yeah.
And what about it? Just the colors, vibrancy?
Yeah, no, definitely. And they're just extremely diverse as far as like rainforests and cities and mountainscapes, and they just have a little bit of everything. I mean, the weather's great to shoot there too. You don't get too cold, like your fingers don't freeze as you're trying to press your button on your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had the most fun shooting there too. But I guess it kind of depends when inspiration hits you, because sometimes it might not come along.
Sometimes you feel more creative than other times, right?
So true. Yeah. You kind of have to, it's like a wave. You have to wait for it to hit you.
I have this app that's called 1 Second Every Day.
Okay.
So have you heard of this?
No.
So you take a video and it clips together 1 second every day. So you take your video and then you go into the app, and it's got a calendar layout. So you select the day and it shows you which videos you took on that day. Okay. So if you miss a day, there's a blank there, which is really frustrating for someone who has OCD like me. So, but then like sometimes it'll be like 11:55 and you're like, I didn't take a video today. So you got to get creative around the house. You're like, what am I going to do? Like,
it forces you to.
Yeah, should I do like going up the stairs or like flicking on a light switch? Something like really simple.
Yeah.
But it's just those random little things that when you put thought, people think that it just strikes you sometimes, right? The inspiration. But I think sometimes you have to force it. Like you have to put thought into it.
It's quite true.
And you have to beat that resistance.
Yeah, definitely. You just have to like overcome that, I guess, like laziness to not create and do it, get it done.
Yeah, and it's always the first couple steps that are the hardest, and then you get the momentum, right?
Definitely, I would agree with that.
So out of the rest of the countries in the world, what's the glaring omission on that list of places you've been? The next place you really, really want to go visit?
Ooh, the next place. I really want to go to Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Really bad.
It's a good call. It's a fun place.
Yeah.
All over Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, all those places.
Yeah. I would love to do that. And New Zealand, I really want to go to as well.
Yeah.
But I want to go everywhere. So.
How many more on the list? What are there? 150 something countries? 160?
I'm not sure. No. Have you heard of the app Bean?
No. What's that?
I think you would like that app too.
Bean?
Yeah, it's just bean, like Been, not like a vegetable bean.
Oh, okay.
But you just go through it, and it has it's a list of all the countries you've been to.
That's really cool.
And it gives you like your percentage of places.
Oh, mine's not gonna be that high.
It's fun though. It's addictive because you go to one place and you land on the plane. You're like, been there.
Yeah, fills in that little 1-2%.
Yeah, definitely.
There's, for those curious, 195 countries in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Huh.
So you're 15%. Pretty good.
Can't say I've like thoroughly traveled each place.
But you've been
there.
Like
exactly.
Brittney, anything else you want to mention to our listeners? Any events you want to make us aware of? And if not, just tell us where to find all your stuff.
For sure. I guess it's kind of been a slow January. We don't have a ton going on. There was that Ace brunch that you brought up. That's happening January 20th.
Babes Who Brunch?
Babes Who Brunch, yeah. So for anybody who classifies themselves as a boss babe, that would be the place to go.
Males need not apply?
Yeah, it's not to exclude, but it just happens to be just a gal's thing.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's on January 20th.
Yeah, and where's that at?
That's going to be at the Holy Roller.
The Holy Roller, good place.
It's fun, yeah. But beyond that, I don't know. We post our events all the time on Instagram and Facebook, just at Yeggers.
Yeah, Yeggers.
That's it, yeah.
It's a good question. What are your favorite restaurants to shoot at in town?
There's the little family of restaurants. I can't remember the owner, but they own Holy Roller, Have Mercy, and El Cortez.
Yeah, Mike Maxis is and his group. I don't think they have a group name, or maybe they do, but
yeah.
That corner. Gateway and White Ave.
Those are some beautiful restaurants.
Yeah.
They have a lot of really neat designs going on. So I like those three. Central Social Hall. I love that place too.
Especially now with the neon lights along the outside. Those are wicked.
They're stepping up their game. Yeah, that's a good place to go.
Any small little hidden gems that you can think of?
The hidden gems?
Edmonton's filled with these little places, these little restaurants that are really cool inside.
I think it's the cafes.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, you just have to maybe if you're gonna meet someone for coffee, try and go to a new place every single time.
Yeah,
and they're really beautiful. Little Brick. I don't know if you've ever been.
Yeah, Little Brick's good. Like a little out of the way, but really beautiful.
It is out of the way for sure.
I like District a lot.
Yeah, District is beautiful. Really great lighting.
What's the place called that's attached to Under the High Wheel in the front there? You know what I'm talking about?
High Wheel.
That's on White and 1 block east of Gateway. There's a yoga studio up top.
Is that the New York Cycle Cafe?
No. I can't remember the name of it.
Block 1912?
No, that was the other way. I really like that place too.
Yeah, I just thought of that one.
It feels like your grandma's living room in there.
Yeah, that place is beautiful. And it has like these little old school lights everywhere in there. It's really beautiful.
Well, anyway, that was a nice little tangent. So follow Yeggers on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Follow Brittney at her. What's your personal one?
It's _BrittyP, just BRITTYP.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Perfect.
That's my personal.
To see the most vibrant page on Instagram.
I try.
All right, well, thanks so much for joining me, and good luck with the rest of your night here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I
appreciate it.
See ya. Thanks so much for listening. I would encourage everyone to go out and do what you can to boost the city of Edmonton. The morale, the image, whatever it is. I'm proud to be from here, and I hope you all are too. Take care.